Hello everybody, my name is Eric Wood and welcome to Eric Talks, the show where I talk about things that are important to me. And today, we are going to be talking about the richest man in human history.
Ah! It's not a liquid! It's a great many pieces of solid matter that form a hard floor-like surface! Ah!
Yes, sir, Jeff Bezos was just declared the richest man ever in human history with a net worth of $103 billion. He is richer than the kings of old, and unsurprisingly, the citizens of the internet are rather pissed off that anyone on planet Earth could possibly have so much money. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I feel like pissing some people off today, so we are going to walk through why Jeff Bezos deserves every single penny he has using a little thing called supply and demand. First things first, we need to know the difference between net worth and just having a bunch of money in the bank. Net worth is all your stuff plus the actual money that you have. So the vast majority of the $103 billion that he has, he can't use. It's all tied up in the companies, properties, and stocks that he owns. He has financial investments that include
Airbnb, Avery, Basecamp, Behance, Blue Origin, Business Insider, CrowdSize, Demo, D-Wave, D-Wave Systems, General Assembly, General Fusion, Glass Baby, Google, Junto Therapeutics, Congregate, Lickin Labs, Lookout, MakerBot Industries, MFG.com, Nextdoor.
That all to say, Jeff Bezos doesn't actually have $103 billion. He theoretically has $103 billion.
Fairy dust. It doesn't exist. It's never landed. It is no matter. It's not on the elemental chart. It's not real.
I say this because it's important to understand what these numbers actually mean and not to get caught up in sheer scale. Okay, so why do people hate that Jeff Bezos has money? Well, it all boils down to one line of logic. He didn't work billions of times harder than people who make minimum wage or the average American, and so on and so on. Basically, people think that how much you are worth should be proportional to how hard you work. Whether or not the people who make this argument admit it or not, they prescribe to a type of Marxism. Marx, the founder of modern communism, was not a stupid man, nor was he evil. He was actually a pretty decent human being who cared a lot about the poor and destitute. But he had a bit of an ego on him, and basically ignored what every other economist said ever and did his own thing. On a fundamental level, every economist studies one basic idea: value. Marx said that value equals labor, full stop. So let's say I build a chair. I buy wood for $10. I spend an hour building the chair, and let's say I value my time at roughly $10 an hour. So our buddy Marx would say that this chair is worth $20. Raw materials plus labor equals value. But what if no one wants the chair?
Good afternoon.
No, I'm doing fine.
What's the value then? Well, zero, because there is no demand. A thing only has value if 1, it exists, and 2, someone wants it. So that chair might actually be worth $15 or $40, or maybe instead I make a side table. Let's say I spend the same amount of time and use the same amount of material, but I manage to sell that table for $100 instead of the $15 or $40 that I might have gotten by selling a chair. I didn't work any harder than the guy who makes chairs, but side tables have greater value because more people want them. So no, Jeff Bezos did not necessarily work any harder than you, but the things he works on are more valuable to society. The man literally reinvented the shipping industry and practically transformed e-commerce from a novelty to a fundamental part of life. I am willing to wager that people want that a couple billion times more than they want a chair. This leads me to a very important point. The single biggest reason I don't like Marxism is because it equates money to moral value. I really hate this. Money is just a type of energy. It's not good, it's not bad, it all depends on how you use it. You shouldn't look down on people for being poor, and you shouldn't look down on people for being rich. We like to characterize people who are in different economic situations as evil or a leech on society, and I have a real problem with that. We like to dehumanize and mischaracterize, and it is just not good. Whether you are homeless on the side of the street or you live in a skyscraper, you are a human being. Wealth does not determine moral value. C.S. Lewis once wrote, "You come from the Lord Adam and the Lady Eve. This is both honor enough to erect the head of the poorest beggar and shame enough to bow the shoulders of the greatest emperor on earth." Be content.
You wouldn't have to work hard. Lord, who made the lion and the lamb, you decreed I should be what I am. Would it spoil some vast eternal plan if I were a wealthy man?